Oh, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Mega Man 10 Any% tournament. Sorry for the delays, but we are here for our race between Siberianbull9 and greatjhon. I'm Mr. Cab here with Konami. We're going to bring you all the action. This one looks to be a good one. Both of these runners, I'm pretty sure, are relatively new to Mega Man 10. Both of their times have been coming down, and I'm looking forward to an exciting race.
Same here. So it's a long-awaited race, that's for sure, but we're finally going to get into it. Just a few seconds. These runners will be selecting Pumpman, the first stage as always, and we'll be hitting it off.
One day I want to hear somebody say that, and then we just like go to something else completely ridiculous. But you know, unlike a lot of other Mega Man games, yeah, we're pretty set on Pumpman and Mega Man 10.
I get Darko or someone in here to do Commando or Chillman first.
Oh my goodness. Who isn't Chillman's first for Proto Man though, isn't it?
Chillman's first for Proto Man, and if you have DLC weapons.
Oh man.
Without those, we're pretty much stuck with Mr. Pump here. Pumpy guy. Yeah. Just to refresh everyone, there has been 3 races that you've all seen Pumpman first, but for anyone who's first time it's here, Pumpman, we choose Pumpman first because, well, the way this game works is that after you beat the first 4 Robot Masters, you will get Rush Jet. So later on, we set the route such that not only are we following the weakness order properly, but the last 4 stages that we do, while following said weakness order, will in fact have the most benefit of getting Rush Jet. So that's for later. You'll see that Commando Man, Sheep, and Blade all benefit heavily for having Rush Jet. For now, we get to see Pumpman, and as you can see, there's really not much use of Rush Jet here, so... Yeah.
Heavily is an understatement.
Heavily, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of everywhere in Blade.
So they're getting through this stage. They're kind of working against the current now. This is a water stage for the game, the classic Mega Man water stage. Looks like Siberian Bull has built up a slight lead. greatjhon, I love it when you see the newbies kind of taking the risks there, getting right up close to those bubbles that could easily carry them into the spikes.
Yeah.
They're just going anyway.
It's a tight cycle to make that one bubble there because it's based on your screen timer. And so, he has to basically make it with a very minimal stop. He has to stop in order to, not bump into an enemy there, but he has to, maximize how much, or minimize how much time he stopped in order to, not get caught by the bubble while still walking straight forward. Yeah.
So this is Pumpman. Like a lot of Robot Masters that have shield weapons, you can kind of find a spot where Mega Man's arm will spawn the Buster Shot inside the shield, so it will still connect. You're looking to see a lot of that. You can destroy the shield as well with a lot of heavy mashing, but it's generally not worth it to do that. I mean, you do it anyway, but it's not plan A.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, greatjhon's going for it.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah, so you saw Siberian Bull there got the E-Tank earlier for this kind of exact purpose. Most people in races get the E-Tank just so that they don't take a death early on in Pumpman. But I think greatjhon opting to forego the E-Tank and unfortunately taking the death very early on and giving Siberian Bull a very significant lead here right off the first stage.
Yeah, I thought he got the E-Tank, but I guess we'll see later. Mega Man 10, of course, has fast weapon switching, so it's kind of unlikely we'll see that E-Tank for a long time if he does have it.
We're only going to see it once somebody uses the M-Tank in Wily 2 or Wily 4. So
exactly.
We'll have it.
Those pump shots do 4 points of damage each, so the Pumpman fight's actually pretty scary, even for runners. The Siberian Bull, you can see, is already through the weapon gets screen, already using Rush Coil, falling down a screen.
Siberian Bull, kind of having to redo a screen there. It's okay, no biggie. Yeah, Solar Man, a lot of vertical screens where you just climb up using Rush Jet and a bunch of ladders. Pretty straightforward. Everything else is just going forward. It's basically a vertical screen, horizontal screen, and then another vertical screen. So that's basically the pattern of Solar Man here. But Siberian Bull approaching the mid boss here, which is a lot of us Mega Man 10 owners have come to hate because of how RNG heavy it is. Sometimes the one guy just doesn't want to get hit, and he's just up on the ground or up in the skies there, while the other one is up for hittings on the ground. So it's kind of luck whether you get to hit him or not. But Siberian Bull getting an okay pattern there.
Yep, he actually did a little bit of the fast weapon swapping there, canceling the pump shield, the water shield, to just use it again, get some more hits in. Did take a lot of damage in the first half of the screen, though. greatjhon getting a large health drop here on that first screen. So Solar Man, not the hardest of Robot Masters, but certainly not one to just kind of ignore the damage threat either. So we'll see. Especially because you have to get up close with the shield. So we'll see how he handles it. greatjhon already threw, what is it, Suzak and Phoenix?
Suzak and Phoenix. And up to this day, we don't know which one is which. So it's up to the Mega Man experts in chat to determine which one's Suzak and which one's Phoenix. I'll leave it up to you guys, I believe.
Stupid birds.
Stupid birds. As if this wasn't MN5. Also, yeah, so here in Solar Man's fight, you notice that you basically used all of your water shield in this stage, besides like a few. And so you really don't want to die in this fight, because if you do, the likely scenario is that you don't have any water shield to kill him off fast, and you have to use the Buster. But thankfully, Siberian Bull avoids that outcome and kills him with enough health to spare, really.
So greatjhon got the health drop on the previous screen. I thought he was... I thought he was good through the first half of the stage, but seeing as he's still not at full, he must have had a really rough second long screen, while Siberian Bull just kind of stood there and let Solar Man go into the water shield. Gets another large drop, just to be sure. Not that that was an easy one to avoid. The trick with Solar Man is that giant sun on his head will absorb the water shield without taking any damage, so you have to be a little careful with it. You only have 7 water shields. It takes 4 points of ammo to use.
Correct.
So let's see.
Here in Siberian Bull's side, we can see that there's going to be these ice blocks in Chillman stage, and you can get rid of them using 2 ways, which is shooting them twice with any weapon or jumping on them twice. And usually you want to use your water shield because it spawns like a bunch of projectiles below you, and that, as you can see, it lets you fall through these ice blocks really fast. And yeah, which is another reason why we do Pump Man first instead of, let's say, Chill Man first, because it lets you do that screen very fast.
Yeah, the shots going below you, it doesn't feel like a lot if you're just kind of watching it, and then you go and you try and play the stage, and the ice blocks literally melt away. They're just gone before you even can think about it.
Yeah.
There's a couple more
vertical
vertical
streams by surprise too.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you just fall through a spike, and not expecting it to break so fast.
And you have to be so careful there. A couple of vertical screens with Rush Coil, using the fact that the Solar Blaze, kind of when it bursts, it does gain some height in its hitbox, so you can use that there. This last screen's pretty dangerous with these hopping robots on the ice cubes. He's through the typically dangerous part of it.
Yeah, he should be
That's good.
Yeah, he's past all the ice blocks where you can randomly get knocked back into and fall after the guy just triggers it.
See, I didn't want to say that until he actually got past the last one, because you never know when something stupid's going to happen. And I'm not taking credit for that, commentator Jace. I'm just not doing it.
Better safe than sorry, I agree.
So Chillman takes 3 points. This is the Robot Master of this game that takes 3 points of damage per shot. And you can see some weird weapon switching going on here. We alluded to fast weapon swapping earlier, where if you switch weapons, you need to get... It cancels the weapon shot so you can fire it again. So the Chillman fight becomes a lot of, please go back to Blaze, please go back to Blaze, and so you don't have to wait for the 2 firewalls to kind of go all the way off the screen. Handled it pretty well, didn't get caught in the Chillman Infinite. That's what you just want to avoid, that more than anything.
Yeah, just getting frozen and getting hit by a spike again and again. It's very important to know that you won't see it just from watching, but in order to quick weapon swap from Solar into another weapon and back, you actually have to press one button, like say the R button, and then press the L button without holding both of them at the same time. Because if you hold both of the weapon swap buttons at the same time, it switches you back to the Mega Buster, and you don't want that. You want to be on Solar Blaze, and it takes some time to get back to it. So a lot of the times you actually have to be really quick, but also be very careful not to swap back to Mega Buster on accident, which is how a lot of the times you'll see that fight being messed up, is that they accidentally go to their Buster.
Yeah, it's definitely just an exercise in weapon swapping.
Yeah,
you have to be very deliberate about it. That's what I was trying to say. So you get the chill spike there, which you can see Siberian Bull here. It's another 2-part weapon. The Ice Glob kind of freezes enemies, doesn't do much otherwise. The spikes will actually do all the damage, and that's what you want to do. This stage, I feel like Nitro is where first of all, Nitro has the good music. Second of all, this is where you start really starting to build up the weapon combos. You're using a lot of Blaze just because it's a really good damage dealer. You're using Ice because it's good against the cars, and it's, Nitro Man's weakness.
Yeah, slowly and surely, you're starting to see like the nice weapon combos this game has to offer with like not only like a good selection of weapons outside of Thunderwool, but with quick weapon swapping, you can just see so much of the cool interactions that the weapons provide.
Get the 2 screens where you get to ride the trucks to the right. Freezing it before it reaches that spike wall. Let's see. There we go. Holding right against that wall just so he is lined up to fall between the bombs and the spikes.
This last screen here, the trick is to fire every jump if you do full jumps, but it seems Siberian Bull is opting to do short jumps, which is pretty risky. But gets through it pretty unscathed as he faces off Nitro Man, who is yet another boss with just a lot of RNG in him. You want him to ride back and forth across the screen because that way he can run into your chill spikes like this. However, that's only one of the 3 patterns he can do. If he does any of the other 2 patterns, which is either standing there and firing his wheel cutters, or if he rides up the wall, what you have to do is you have to freeze him, and when you freeze him, it actually resets his pattern, so you can get another shot at the good pattern from there. So, again, of course, you just want like the good pattern right off the bat without having to freeze him. But we'll see when greatjhon gets there what kind of RNG he pulls out.
greatjhon took the long way down through the spike bombs. If you're just not comfortable going to that right wall, this is the next best thing to do. Does avoid all the large drops. That's, of course, he gets another one after I say that. My goodness. It's not that drops are bad, they just eat time.
Yeah, so in some cases you might even want drops, like say in the Wily stages where you want ammo, but here in the 8 robot stages, drops usually don't do anything but waste you time having to refill the weapon. Since this isn't like Mega Man 11 or Mega Man 8 where it instantly refills it.
So greatjhon dealing with Nitro Man takes him out. It took some time. Siberian
a very bad pattern there. So
Siberian Bull with a little bit of trouble on that first screen of Commando. There's some enemies that fly over your head. They're little bombers. You want to have the pump shield or solar blaze works too to take them out. And he's just ended up hitting a lot of the traps along the way. Not a big deal, just time.
Very soon you'll see the first usage of Rush Jet. So as we talked about, the second half of the 8 robots, it's we want to use Rush Jet in very specific places, and here's going to be one of them. You saw the Sandstorm earlier that was riding with us, that gives us a speed boost. Here, the Sandstorm is going to be going against us. And to avoid the slowdown from the Sandstorm, you actually can just ride the Rush Jet off the top of the screen, and it won't affect you that way. So that's pretty convenient that you get to use Rush Jet there. You can even use it here on this last screen with the Sandstorm that, we don't have to platform over anything since we have enough ammo. But this one isn't as necessary. It doesn't really save that much time. It's just safer.
Yeah, I have seen it where if you get on Rush fast, you can kind of get to the edge of that screen on the edge of the Sandstorm instead of kind of 2 tiles into it.
Yeah,
like
frames difference.
Yeah, what are we talking, like 10 frames or something?
Maybe even less, honestly.
So Commando Man has a very weird property. We're not really seeing... It's hard to see it sometimes, too, where if he's in a jump, his iframes sometimes just don't work. Otherwise, you just hit him with the wheel cutters, and that's that. It's over.
Yeah, so like if he does the short jump, what players will often do is they'll just like mash a bunch of wheel cutters in him while he's jumping, and that just evaporates his health to 0 really quickly. Because again, he doesn't have any iframes when he's doing... I believe when he's rising from a jump, he doesn't have any iframes, so...
It's
like
such a weird thing.
In the game. It's like, yeah, that's the one glitch in this game. Otherwise, a very perfectly programmed game.
All Mega Man games are perfect. What are you talking about? Don't talk to me about Zips in Mega Man 2.
Of course. Of course, right. My bad.
So this is Blade Man stage. It's probably, at least for my money, my inexperienced thumbs here, the more technical of the 8 robots, because you're just switching weapons constantly.
Yeah, from here on out, the game does have a lot of complexity to it. Blade and Strike specifically, they have a lot of pretty, not only creative, but sometimes pretty tough to execute weapon combos. Here's another usage of Rush Jet to fly over these pit of spikes. Interestingly enough, you can jump those gaps with the spikes in them. Those 4-tile wide gaps are sometimes there are 4-frame windows, sometimes there are 5-frame windows, depending on the subpixels. Essentially luck, whether you can get a 4-frame or 5-frame window. But in a 60 FPS game, that's still like kind of tight to do. I don't know, 5 or 6 times across the stage. So for beginner runners, I suggest that you just use the rush jet to fly over them.
Yeah, it's like literally impossible, especially if you get a drop. Although you'll see the expert runners just go right through it. Using jet there is not too bad. It does mean you have a little bit of an ammo crunch as we get to the end of the stage, because again, those like the little like minecart platforms, they work. They're just really, really slow.
Yeah.
So let's see.
You have to jump back and forth across them to make them go forward, and it's really slow. It's a lot of time lost when you try to ride those, which is why I just want to rush jet over them.
So Siberian Bull just getting right through it. Very nice.
Here we're looking to see in Blade Man's fight a bunch of double hits from the Commando Bomb. So the Commando Bomb, the projectile itself doesn't do that much damage, but when it hits a wall, it does a bit of a shockwave on both sides. And those shockwaves, depending on where they hit relative to the enemy, can sometimes cause double hits. And I think we saw one there. I think on the left side.
Yep, he got that double hit on the left. He went for a second one. And of course, the nice thing about it too is that shockwave is so large. If it's pretty much anywhere on the ceiling, Blade Man will jump into it when he tries to jump to the next wall. And that was the last hit.
Yeah, pretty convenient. They just kind of jumped into it there.
And that gives him the triple blade, which is the ultimate backup utility weapon of this game, just because it tends to hit multiple times with each shot.
Indeed. It's kind of like, honestly, if you played Mega Man 2 and just have relied on like the metal blade for everything in a casual playthrough, honestly, it's the same for this weapon. Anytime you're in a pinch, you're in a kind of a pickle, you just bust out the triple blade. It's a very handy weapon, especially right now. You're seeing it. It kind of just obliterates enemies as long as you like fire it point blank, because both at least 2 of the 3 projectiles will hit, and usually that's enough damage.
So the only thing more annoying than those birds are these goalies. So Siberian Bull, there is a Commando Man strat here. He seems to be like lined up there to just get right in the goalie's face with the water shield and then finish him off by pumping in, pun not intended, the triple blade. Very nice, actually.
Yeah, so there's many ways you can do that fight. The most basic one, of course, is you just like ride the hands, and then once you ride up the hands up to his face, you just, you know, pull a bunch of triple blades in his face. But the more advanced strat there is, if you line up perfectly when you enter the room, you can just fire commando bombs, 2 commando bombs, and that will usually give you like the double hits that you need to kill him in 2 shots. But doesn't seem like he's going for the lineup here. He just goes for the hand strat.
Yeah, he went straight for that, and it works. It worked very well.
This stage is also on a global timer. You'll see that these lockers that pop out of the walls, they're just based on what time you are currently in the stage. And so sometimes if you delay just a bit, you wouldn't even know where the lockers are, and then they just like open up right in your face, and it's a very painful experience. It's kind of annoying. It doesn't even lose that much time, but it's very annoying when they just like pop out of nowhere. It's like, oh man, my global timer was off. Let's see here, Strike Man. If everything goes right, the fight should go without him going into his ball form. Oh, that was almost it. But yeah, you can kind of get close enough to him such that you can fire like a bunch of double hits right in front of his face, and that usually kills him before he can like start bouncing around. It's much harder when he jumps lower. When he does a high jump, it's very easy. Like you really can't mess it up. But when a low jump, it's actually a pretty tight window to get. You'll see top runners miss it a lot too.
Second goalie. He used commando on the first one as well.
But yeah, it doesn't seem like. I think he was trying to do the frame perfect turnaround there. Well, it's not frame perfect, but the 1 pixel turnaround there would have gotten him like a perfect setup to get a double hit on that quickly for greatjhon. Oh yeah, speaking of global timers, there's going to be some disappearing and appearing blocks here. Not these ones on Siberian Bull's side. These colored blocks, they just disappear once you touch them, and everything of the same color will disappear. Connected of the same color. But later on, there'll be these Yoku blocks that appear based on, again, the global timer of the stage. So it won't matter too much up until the last part because he's using Rush Jet for a lot of it. But he wants to make a specific cycle that lets him just go through the stage non-stop instead of like having to set up a rush coil to save him from spikes. We'll see that later. First, you'll see another mini boss that kind of crumbles to the commando bomb. Here's Octobulb. Ooh, that was an interesting.
A little early.
Yeah, he jumps for it. It's an interesting way to do that. Unfortunately, he fires it too early. Position on the double hits. In fact, I think on Octobulb it's actually a triple hit that you get. And the positioning for that is very strict. And you also have to like time his activation, so you notice their Octobulb is like activated by like the treadmills on the bottom. You have to like time it as soon as he's like activating to hit the most amount of the commando bomb shockwaves.
Yeah, we're not seeing a lot of the stage because we have Rush, but there are a lot of conveyor belts in the stage that are used to kind of power platforms and other stage mechanics. You have to kind of walk, do the generate electricity thing, or make the call, get Rush Jet.
Yeah, sometimes I forget those are even mechanics in this stage just because you fly over them. So yeah, that's the last set of Yoku blocks that Siberian Bull was trying to avoid. He didn't have to use the rush coil there, but best to be safe than sorry. Pretty tricky room here, actually. I've seen people die in this room a lot by just triggering the blocks in like the wrong timings and then accidentally jumping into a spike. It's a pretty tragic death because you have to be sent like all the way after you fight the Octobulb, and the worst part is you won't have any Rush Jet left when you get there because you've used up all of it, and so you have to basically do the Yoku blocks normally. I've seen people game over from that because they don't know how to do the Yoku blocks. It's a pretty tough one.
I haven't done those Yoku blocks probably since this game came out.
I probably
greatjhon having a little bit of trouble here with the Octobulb, taking a handful of cycles there. Siberian Bull making short work of Sheepman, which is good because Rebound Striker, it looks easy, but you do want to actually bounce that weapon around. It does more damage for every bounce. So it can be tricky to aim that thing.
Well, hey, at least it doesn't lag the game and actually does more damage as it bounces. Unlike, another laser-like weapon.
Ooh, we might get to see it. We might get to see it. So you probably know the actual statements about RNG in this game. I think it's based on frames into the stage, like the Yoku blocks.
Yes. The only thing that the RNG uses is the frame counter, so like how many frames have elapsed as you play the stage, and the number of enemies you kill total. Or I think in some cases, like objects such as ice blocks count, or bombs. But for normal mode, it's usually just the frame counter and the number of enemies you kill. So as you see there, Siberian Bull did that screen without stopping, so he got to this point in the boss room on the same frame that he usually would. Oh wait, did he? I think he might have killed one more enemy than he needed to, but had he killed the same number of enemies and got to the room at the same frame, then he would be expecting the same boss there, which is usually a Electman. But oddly enough, he got Woodman there. So that's just a short taste of what RNG manipulation looks like. Spoiler alert: there will be a much bigger scale of RNG manipulation later on in the run. I know we're basically at the closing point of the run with the Wily stages, but rest assured, there'll be a lot more RNG manipulation to come later. And it's going to be very beautiful. greatjhon here, coming up on the Wily stages itself. Let me see if he gets the RNG manipulation in the first screen too, while Siberian Bull just continues with the rest of the weapon archives.
Nice drop there for Blade. You want Blade ammo.
Definitely.
Like a lot of times in Mega Man games, you don't want to be frozen by that drop in place. We're going to be using an M tank in all likelihood, so drops are fine. Drops are good.
Yeah, so in the Wily stages, as in a lot of Mega Man games, your ammo carries over from stage to stage. So whatever ammo you use in Wily 1 will carry over to Wily 2. And so you want to like try to manage your ammo usage as much as possible. Like you don't want to use all your triple blade in Wily 1, just go crazy. But thankfully we do get an E-tank later on in the run of the next stage.
Oh, an M tank even.
Yeah, an M tank, sorry.
Let's see, greatjhon.
greatjhon got Gemini.
There's the laser.
That laser.
Shout out to Nebula. They fixed the lag issue at least. They fixed the lag.
Thank God Capcom did. Otherwise, a certain Nebula might have a problem with it.
Nebula!
Pretty straightforward stage here, just going back and forth.
Yeah.
Showcasing. At this point, you have all the weapons, of course, and you get to see them in their full power. You see Solar Blaze just sweeping through these, what is it, like unisite, like
I don't even know.
What are they supposed to be?
It's so the nice thing about it, because usually you shoot those enemies, you shoot like the engine underneath them out, and you still have to deal with the top part. But Solar Blaze is big enough that it works. We haven't talked about the giant hopping enemies at all, just always going over you because we're in the air. Maybe later. There's one more weapon archive here.
Yep, here's Slash Frost and Tornado.
Frostman actually gets to use the Ice Wave in this game, and it hits like a truck. Tornado Man, still weak to electricity, but Thunderwool is literally worse than Power Stone. And Slash Man is still evil. But Triple Blade is just too good.
Yeah. So, Slash Man there is actually weak to the Chill Spike, just like how in, I believe, Mega Man 7, he's weak to the Freeze Crackers, the same type weapons.
Yeah, you got it.
You don't freeze him in this game, you have to use the spike, so you have to like get him to jump onto the spike usually. But if you're not willing to deal with that, you can also just use Triple Blade, as we said.
See, that's what annoys me, because like he's weak to fire in Mega Man 7 as well. And Solar Blaze is actually, you know, an easy to use weapon, but oh well.
Do you want to do more weapon swapping with Solar Blaze against Slash Man?
Well, if I didn't have to switch to Chill in the first place, you know. Siberian Bull using the Rebound Striker on that little shielded enemy there. Very nice.
Yeah, that's a cool shot there, getting the maximum bounces as you spawn the guy onto the screen.
He's going to get the blade refill. Not a bad move, honestly, because it is very useful against the birds here.
We have our boys Suzak and Phoenix back in action. And pretty important what they do here, actually, because some RNGs that will lose like 3 to 4 seconds, and these plungers that you see are actually also on a global timer. Each plunger drops on, I believe, a 3 or 4 second cycle, and so sometimes if you get a bad pattern on the birds, it just delays you for 1 cycle altogether. So you just gotta hope that like the birds give you like a cooperative pattern to give you like a cycle that you at least know, because like sometimes you'll just end up in like a pattern that, or in a cycle with the plungers that you just absolutely have no idea. There's the M-Tank.
Siberian Bull getting the M-Tank, using Triple Blade all the way against Octobulb there, having used it an awful lot.
Ooh, the Rush Jet.
Against the birds. Yeah, I've started doing that Rush Jet too, because you know, the speed route actually goes down there at that last Ice Cube, but it's otherwise, oh god, Jay! Ice Wave hits like a truck in this game. It's like a truck in Mega Man 8 as well, but you never see it just because of the nature of the Robot Master's reaction to the weakness.
Yeah, I forgot how much damage these things actually do to you, but Ice Wave
is like deadly. It really is. It's like the worst part of this fight. Like Slash Man, you think is the worst part of this fight, because Slash Man just does a moderate amount of damage a lot. And there's Thunderwool. Let's go. We completely missed Siberian Bull's very nice last screen, by the way. Wily 2 is no joke.
Oh, hey.
Oh, we're going for it?
This rat?
Oh, we got it.
Yeah.
So go for it.
That strat, for the longest time, the MM10 runners usually call it a hard mode exclusive strat. The way it works is like you place a Thunder Wool that hits both of his eyes, and the reason why people call it like hard mode exclusive is that like in hard mode, the Crab Puncher actually moves forward, so it's a lot easier for him to like move into the Thunder Wool, like the lightning that comes down, and so his eyes just take a lot more damage. In this mode, he's a bit more stationary, and so it's a lot harder to like set up the position such that it hits like both of his eyes. Like a lot of the cases, he won't even hit anything with the Thunder Wool placement that you get. And so recently, people have been starting to like do that, and like I think it's mostly to save like Commando Bomb ammo, because you know the Crab is weak to Commando Bomb. But if you can get away with using like 1 or 2 Thunder Wools there, then I believe some people have found that strat to be worth it. But it's pretty interesting. It's a rarely new decision for people to come up with that.
Honestly, I feel like we've got a lot of runners coming in here too. They're learning the game, and they hear about that, and it just looks really cool. And
yeah,
no, they're not wrong. It is cool to pull that off. It's an extremely tight shot. It's very easy.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people didn't do it for a while in normal mode.
Yeah, hitting those eyes with the cloud just does almost nothing. So you just don't want to do it. See, Siberian Bull's going to try and ride Rush Jet the rest of the way here. Probably going to take the damage boost. That's fine. That's fine.
This stage is basically all an auto-scroller. You know, auto-scroller at the start with the elevator, auto-scroller here with Rush Jet, and then after these few vertical screens, there's going to be yet another elevator auto-scroller. So, pretty chill stage. The last screen might kill you, but overall, it's pretty relaxing just listening to the music, the MM10 tunes.
Yup. These elevators, those spikes are solid ceiling, so you can get crushed against them. So don't do that. Be a little careful.
Yeah, so even if you have iframes, like from a hit, if you end up under one of those spikes, the elevator and spikes can in fact crush you.
And here's the what I'm pretty sure you meant as the last screen.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna use the M-Tank now.
This is really the last screen where you can take an insta-death and the run, because the next is refights and, you know, 1v5.
Well, there's one more.
But yeah, this room can get kind of messy. Oh, kind of like this. Giving us a bit of a heart attack there.
Oh my god! The flower saved him with that laser beam.
Yeah, in that room, you kind of like the moment you screw up, the idea is you basically have to like look for the next thing that can hit you so that you have iframes to stand on the spikes. You're just like, oh my god, something hit me quick, something hit me quick. And
wow.
Thankfully, the flowers are there to give them an iframe to go through spikes. Yeah. Whoa, almost. Yeah,
like I said, there was one more insta-death screen in this run, and that was it.
Whoops.
So he's firing the rebound striker a little late, so he's gonna try and bounce these off the floor, because again, bouncing them, they do 1 extra point of damage per bounce. Block Devil, like, if you know to bounce the shots and you know where it's going to go, it's not that bad. You can usually get it in 1 cycle almost no matter what. You don't want to see it go down for another cycle, because then you've basically lost a minute if that happens.
Yeah, it's a lot of time, but thankfully you can adapt. So like the initial setup is pretty tricky. Like it's a tight timing, but if you fail to do the initial setup, then you can at least try to back it up, and you have enough time for it. Unlike, say, Mega Man 9 or Mega Man 3, where trying to make it in 1 cycle with those devil bosses is very stingy. Like, you mess up like 1 pause or 1 mash, 1 jump, and it's basically over.
Yup. Very forgiving to try and get that 1 cycle here once you kind of know the basics.
Yeah,
Siberian Bull going out of his...
for the 2 bounces.
He's going out of his way a little bit to make sure he gets as much Rebound Striker as possible, going directly to Sheepman, I guess, because Rebound Striker's already equipped.
He does have a lead, so he has enough of a lead that he can like take his time, make sure he doesn't, take any catastrophic mistakes here.
If you're paying attention at home, the robot teleporters are laid out the same as the stage select.
That's right. So if you have like a poor memory, as apparently some people have pointed out they do, if you just know where you're stage selecting from the first half of the run, then once you're in refights, all you have to remember is like where everyone was in stage select, and that's how you know which weapon to swap to going in.
So Pumpman here is the only real change to strategies outside of having Triple Blade as a backup. We have a weakness.
Yeah.
It's not a great weapon, but we have it.
Yeah, you kind of have to hope it does its job, and then you have to hope that Pumpman does its job by jumping into it. Sometimes he'll just jump once and then ignore the rest of the Thunder Wolves on screen, and it's a very sad fight when that happens. Like sometimes you can see that fight being done just entirely on Triple Blades because the Thunder Wolf just isn't hitting anything. Like
Bring back Power Stone, seriously.
Bring back Power Stone. I too want to pause every time. Maybe that would be cool, Power Stone in this game where you can quick weapon swap. That'd be interesting.
Mega Man 10 Final Destination, let's go.
Destination. Good lord.
Mega Man 5 ROM hacks, everybody.
Hey, good pattern here from Siberian Bull and Nitro Man. You can see that he just runs over the chill spikes into his utter doom. And here we have, again, the featuring of the quick weapon swaps with Solar. See, there you go. He ended up with Buster in one of those shots, and once you make a mistake, you end up getting frozen, and it just throws you off a loop.
One good thing about the one Buster shot is Robot Masters, all the meters in kind of 8-bit Mega Man games are 28 large. That does 3, so there's 1 left over. That one weapon, one Buster shot doesn't actually lose you time per se.
Yeah,
you only get to do it once and not lose time.
Because you have to hit her, you have to hit Sugar Man with literally anything else that does 1 damage. So Buster, sometimes you'll end up hitting him with Water Shield if you end up on that weapon, so that's also fine if you don't have like a shortage on Water Shield ammo. Speaking of Water Shield, here it is again, killing Solar Man kind of instantly. There you go. Just run up to him. And some more Solar Blaze quick weapon swap action with the Wily machine.
Can you believe it was Dr. Wily all along?
I can't, dude. It catches me every time. I'm never ready for it. Like, how does he keep getting away with it?
How does he keep building entire new fortresses?
Who funds him? That's right. Which government funds him?
Ooh. So Siberian Bull using the W tank from Chillman stage. It's in the way. You're going to have it to get more Solar Blaze to fill up. Employing the Triple Blade here. Using Rush Coil to go up. The weakness is actually Water Shield, but you've got to get in its face.
It's a pretty risky strat because sometimes you'll just bump into him without deploying the Water Shield, and you just took a bunch of, like, for whatever reason, this Wily machine also still does a lot of damage. You're not allowed that many hits, depending on what hits you, and so you want to be careful, like, trying to go up in his face with Water Shield because sometimes you'll take too much damage. But gets through it, no problem.
Very, very deliberate fight there, but he took care of business. You can't complain about it.
greatjhon here, completing the rest of the refights, catching up slowly. All that's left between Siberian Bull and the victory at hand is Wily 5, and we'll see if he goes for a special manipulation that we've talked about, how the RNG, the randomness in this game, only depends on, again, the global frame counter in the stage and the number of enemies you kill. So, essentially, if you do this entire stage frame perfectly, which you can with some tricky setups, unfortunately Siberian Bull, Siberian Bull's not going to go for it, but you can in fact just perfectly do the stage with in the same amount of frames every time, and that will guarantee you a good power.
Oh no!
Oops. Okay, so what I said about the last place you can basically die, forget that. I stand corrected. Thankfully, this stage is pretty short, and that's why you can manipulate it in the first place, because it's a pretty short stage.
Yeah, all the movement's buffered. It's stuff where you can actually hold jump to start moving at the start of the stage, and it saves like 6 seconds over holding right. Holding down off of the ladders, using, for the most part, the wheel cutter to go up ledges like this one here, where maybe you'll jump at the right time, maybe you won't, or you could just walk into it and you'll get there at the same amount of time every time. So that gives Great John some time. It's not going to be enough because there's still a whole bunch of teleporters flashing here.
Unless, you know, I'll jinx
Well,
it. There might be a Wily capsule death inbound.
I mean, that's where if he's paying attention, and I'm not sure if he is, you grab that E-tank. It's right there.
We might just
not sure if he's looking over to see where he stands in the race, because you know if he needed the E-tank, that's a very easy one to just grab.
Yeah, so really this fight shouldn't be of any risk to anyone, manipulated or not. You know, unless you're playing like Proto Man in case you die in 2 hits. But here in this fight, you can slug out a lot of hits versus Wily, even in the bad patterns. A bit of an awkward weakness again with Chill Spike.
At least you don't have to hit him with the spikes.
Yeah, imagine. You can only hit him on the bottom patterns. Literally worse than Mega Man 9 capsule.
He's taking a fair amount of hits here, but he gets it. He gets it.
Siberian Bull with a final time of 40-10. Taking the win. Thank you for playing.
Yeah, time is on the capsule exploding, I'm pretty sure, right? Not when Wily goes off the screen?
Yeah, it is on. It's on. Yeah, final hit. So
yes, he's got an 08. Yeah. He's got the 08. But get the GGs out in chat.
Yeah, GGs to him. greatjhon trailing not too far behind, just a stage behind, but should be finishing up here soon in just a few more. Just cleaning up the Wily machine, and maybe we can see if greatjhon goes for the Wily 5 manipulation strat. Again, it's a sight to see because of how much sophisticated movement that you have to do across the stage. You know, maybe for the fans, now that the race is over, maybe he can like try it out, even if he's not that confident in it. But we'll see.
See, we want to watch greatjhon wrap up the Wily machine fight, but we do have Siberian Bull here in a moment. GG, while we just watch this.
Congratulations, Siberian Bull, on the win.
If anyone has my emotes in chat, can you throw some salt for that dumb move I did in the Wily 5 there? I could have had that sub 30.
Yo, there's that E-tank from Pump Man. There's the E-tank from Pump Man. I knew he had it.
Oh, he did. Oh my God. Well, there you go. Commentator confirmed blind.
Rush Coil pauses here just because it's that much easier to figure out which weapon you're actually on when you're doing that. So, Siberian Bull, let me ask you a question. What's your PB in Mega Man 10?
It was 40-17 last night. Now it's PB again.
It's a 40-08 now, right?
PB.
Considering I hit my spacebar, I didn't really look at it. We'll check the VOD later, but we'll just go with what's in the race time room of 40-10.
I think when you submit that one, just take those 2 seconds off. It's last hit on Wily. You got it.
I'll get the verification for you.
But good job.
I'm really happy with that run. I really was in some kind of zone there. I just wish I didn't brain fart in Wily 5.
Yeah,
like, what am I doing? Why did I pull out the wheel there?
Oh yeah.
You'll get him next time. You'll get him next race.
Well, that would yes, I'll PB, but I'll be sent down to the losers bracket.
That wheel cutter was that was between you and the sub 40. You're right. Oh my goodness.
It is.
Yeah, that's between me and a sub 40. That's why. If anyone's got my salt emote, throw it in chat, please.
Get that salt out. Well,
Sure,
great job. Oh man.
Wow. Holy. And I got my version of Thunderwall, so I was happy about that. I had not been getting that in practice, but there it was.
You got it here live in front of everyone, and that's all that matters.
You got us to talk about Thunderwall much longer than anybody should ever talk about Thunderwall, so good job.
Yeah, that's right. I'm proud of it, too.
It was very, very fun to watch this race, so...
greatjhon here finishing up with the Wily Capsule. Unfortunately, well, it gave him a good pattern even though it wasn't manipulated. So
He got the greatjhon manip, but he's got to go for the reach for the E tank here.
maybe he just pulled off the greatjhon manip.
Yeah, it's the greatjhon manip.
Well, he just did it right there. So
GG.
Clear has it, and yeah, there you go. greatjhon finishing with a time of 44:03. Thank you for playing.
I feel like the meme in Mega Man 10, or at least one of them, is if somebody gets the good pattern on Wily anyway, that's their manip. Doesn't matter. That's their manip.
You're catching on real quick.
I
think we
bet.
have to conceal our secrets a bit better. People are finding out.
You just gotta get it out there. The only things I can think of with Mega Man 10, it's runner manip, and make sure you get the rush coils and the rush coils and the rush coils and the rush coils.
The rush coils and the rush jets and the rush coils. And the
Oh
rush jets.
man, that's getting fancy.
Yeah.
Or CRJ.
Now, unfortunately, this does mean that I believe greatjhon will be heading off into the lower bracket, where again he's not eliminated from the tournament. He gets to play a bit more and see how far he gets in the tournament. But down there in the losers bracket, there's a lot of sharks waiting for their own food, and it might get tricky. But cheer him on as he continues on with the rest of his bracket, while Siberian Bull here getting to continue on with
Well, you get the top seed now.
Let's be honest here. I'm being fed to BT.
You
fighting
get
BT
to
this
take
time?
down BT. Can you believe it?
I have my money on you. Don't let me down.
If I beat BT, I don't know what I would do.
BT's
I'm glad you said that
fraudulent.
and not something ridiculous, because I was ready to clip this stream.
Yeah. I really wish you would have said something real nice, like BT's just a phony. He ain't got stuff on me. And then we just clip
BT
it.
is definitely not sitting right there in chat putting up shocked emote right now.
I say my wrestling promos for the Mega Man 2 rando races.
Yeah, BT's nothing more than a Mega Man Unlimited speedrunner. What does he know about this game?
We need more wrestling promos in this.
Wrestling
Although I
promos.
do want to welcome greatjhon here to the booth. GG, sir.
What is up, y'all? Yeah, that was a rough run. Siberian Bull must have had a really killer run.
He gave you his best, unfortunately.
He did. I can't beat his best yet. My PB is very low 42, so that was that's a great run.
It's my quote unquote best, but you know we don't talk about what happened.
You do have to walk us through the secrets of the greatjhon manip in Wily 5. That was nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wish I wouldn't have had to use the E-Tank. That was but yes, obviously very planned to get that form. That's my favorite.
Yeah, you gotta teach us MM10 runners sometimes how to do that manipulation of yours. It seems pretty optimal, if you ask me.
Yeah, one of these days I will.
Thanks. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, I love.
You did charge through that run. I think the only thought I've got is like, was there ever a thought to go? It looks like your strategy is to go for it and just kind of leave that E-Tank until near the very end.
As far as the
a couple
Wily
of close
fight.
calls throughout the fight, throughout the run.
Yeah. I usually plan to get the 2 E-Tanks on the way, and depending on if I had one left over or if my health is pretty full for the Wily fight, I can usually stick through it. But that one was just getting hit by too many projectiles. But yeah, like obviously the biggest killer there was the Wily 1 death, but like everything else was okay. The dumb pump death was really dumb too, just like one hit.
Yeah, you hate to see those kind of things happen.
Yeah, it's just nerves too. Right off the bat, I'm always like, "Ah, man, I got to do well," and like I settled in after that death. But
Yeah, I think the run was honestly mostly clean. There's a couple of spots, you just took some damage. I mean, that's fine. How long have you been playing Mega Man 10 again? Because you've got the 44 here.
Yeah,
I forget what your PB is right now, because I think it still says 46 on the leaderboard.
Yeah, it's about a 42. I've had a couple that I didn't submit that I just put up a couple nights ago.
I knew you had something lower than that.
Yeah. So it's a 42.01, I believe, is my PB. But yeah, no, that run went pretty well, except for those deaths. There was a couple, like I didn't get Octobulb. That always frustrates me. But yeah, no, that went fairly how my runs go. So, and I started playing like I don't know about 2 weeks ago. First I had to casually beat the game a few times because I'd only done it when it first came out on Wii, but.
Yeah, I tossed out the Octobulb strat the second time through. The first time through, I tried to get it. It was pretty much 1 dot left, so I ended up killing it with Pump and Sheepman. And when I got to it on Wily 2, I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it the way I had been doing it.
It's okay, because in practice I wasn't getting it either. I think I got it once, and I was like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, greatjhon, you're definitely coming down in time. I love it. I love seeing this. Like, you've been playing a couple of weeks already. Banging the door on that 40-minute barrier. Siberian Bull also like right there, honestly, and like we said, that one little gaff away from actually being in the 39s, and so that's gonna happen soon. But Siberian Bull, it wasn't just Thunderwool. You had like the goalie strat. You had a couple of these like alternate strats that might not be the world record strat, but they're certainly very, very effective, and I love seeing that.
Yeah, it's mainly because I have a certain disdain for Commando Bomb. So it's like, I'm not using this. I'm doing something else.
Yeah, do you use Blade, or what do you use there?
For the goalies, I use a combination of Pump and Blade. So like when the fist comes up, the whole Pump shield's out, and hopefully I'm facing the right direction. So then it's going up, and then switch to Blade.
Yeah.
If it's the left fist, because I'm already facing left, it works perfectly. Because as soon as the fist goes away, I just drop straight down.
Yeah, that was what I was doing casually, and I kind of switched it up to what everybody else was doing. I also hate Commando Bomb, so yeah. One big upside to my run too was I ended up getting 3 gold splits, so I was like, hey, I'm really happy with that run. My refights, I knew I had one coming, even though the machine fight was pretty nasty. But.
Yeah, I'm gonna check my splits later because I did not have them up for this race. I just hit the start when we started, and I went from there. So I will have to check it later.
Daring, nice.
So yeah, just anything else you guys want to get out there before we start wrapping up here? greatjhon, I know. No, Siberian Bull, you're getting BT next. greatjhon, you've got Palpy Blade in the bonus bracket. So good luck to both of you in those races.
No. Let's rephrase that. BT's getting me next.
Oh, there you have it.
Well, with that attitude, yes, he will. But
that's what we want to see.
We've got to sell tickets to this show.
I'm buying $10 pop.
I can guarantee my next run will be better. How about that? That's my confidence.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's a very good compromise at the very least. But
that's right. No, I'm definitely keeping at it. I love the double elimination format because now I can just I got another run coming up, so I can keep practicing.
Good to hear.
All right, so I guess we're gonna start wrapping up here. As always, don't forget to follow our runners, SiberianBull9 and greatjhon, although it's spelled greatjhon, here on Twitch, just like it is on the screen. If you're watching this video somewhere else, follow the runners, because without them on all these shows, we can't have these races. So we love having them on to entertain us all. It's great. If you want to follow myself, and can I? What is, if you want to advertise your Twitch stream?
If you want to follow me, go follow me. It's fine, but I highly suggest you don't, because I don't really do much of streaming. But yeah, my Twitch is there if you feel like it. But I prefer you guys follow these other runners who's actually making strides to improve in the game and getting better times, of course. Instead of me, lousy commentator who really doesn't do that much. So I prefer you head it over to the real people in charge here, right?
Yep, and don't forget to follow SpeedGaming too, because they let us put on these silly tournaments all the time. They've been around for a long time. SpeedGaming 2 through 6. There's a few alternate language SpeedGamings out there as well. Follow them all. They're all great. We love SpeedGaming. And yeah, play more Mega Man. Check us out on the Mega Man leaderboard. Join the Discords, all that other good stuff. I'm going to stop rambling and say good night, everybody. Good day. Whatever time it happens to be for you when you watch this, just have a good one.
That's
Thanks,
right.
guys. See ya.
See y'all. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Peace.